Hey guys, and welcome back to more Diablo Immortal. If you like me playing a free-to-play account, you might find the following things helpful. The first thing I want to talk about is experience. I just switched over to one of my other characters that I was messing around with, and on your inventory you can actually see on the experience bar here what the current server paragon level is, what your current XP is, and what your XP reward is. So between level 1 and 60, on normal difficulty, you will see that your XP rewards are 100. So you basically earn the
Still
experience you
so
should
much
get
to
from killing
learn, I
monsters,
see.
doing events, earning things. That is absolutely normal. However, once you go into the paragon levels, that changes. Now, as you can see here on my main character, which is Paragon 27, I'm getting 130 XP reward. Now, this starts from Paragon level 1 pretty much, and I think some people told me they get 220%. What is based on is how far away you are from the server Paragon level. It's kind of like a boost to lower ranks to get them quicker up to the rank or to the average rank of the server, which is the maximum paragon level. You can go beyond that paragon level, but what happens then is if you get to paragon 33, 34, 35 and so on, you will find that you get less and less experience. So I think if you would be paragon 40, you end up getting like something like 20% experience. So nothing will give you any more experience. But one thing you can do to close those gaps, or if you are a fast leveler, what you can do is use your battle points to your advantage. Now, what I mean by that is that battle points that you earn per week are capped. So if you keep spending them during your leveling when you don't really need to, which I used to do the first week, every time I had points, I spent them. But don't do it. Keep them for when you really need them. Now, you might not be able to earn more than 2,400, but there is no cap on how many you can save up. So if I don't spend any, I can have 2,000 or 4,800 points sitting here unclaimed until I actually exchange them. So what I would recommend is try to level up without exchanging them. Now, you can still exchange your dailies, and there's exceptions. I would also exchange the actual quests. That's what I've been doing, because they don't refresh. In 3 hours we get new quests, but if you have active quests you haven't exchanged, you don't get the new ones. You have to hand in these quests to get the new ones. So that's the only ones I really hand in. Everything else I'm not handing in anymore, and that means I can enjoy my 130% XP, level up pretty quickly. But once I get to the next paragon level, 29, 28, 29, I will probably find that this goes down to 100 and then to 90. And that's when the battle points are going to be much more valuable to exchange, because you still get the same amount of experience from exchanging those battle points. It will always be in 29, 972,000 experience. Another thing to keep in mind is that every day the server paragon level increases by 2 levels. So if you don't manage to play for a day, or you just have a very slow grind, you weren't able to do all the dailies, you couldn't find anybody to hook up with to do some mob killing in the library or the damnation area, you find that the percentage is higher again the next day. So it's 130 now, but if I'm going to fall behind further, so say it goes to 35, 36, and I'm still 27, I will start seeing it's 140%. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the difficulty levels and the paragon milestones. Mainly the first milestone, which is going to be paragon level 30. Now, the reason paragon level 30 is so important is that is the first milestone where you can start wearing the gear from the next difficulty level. Hell 2 gear drops at least at minimum as paragon level 30 gear. The stats of that gear have a huge boost compared to what you can find in Hell 1, and you can access Hell 2 before level 30. So doing your dailies that you do anyway, you might as well do them on Hell 2 as soon as you can to get the item drops for the next higher level. So you can see I already have here, for example, a shoulder, and that as soon as I hit level 30, I'm going to be able to get a huge boost in stats. Now, if I'm finding a lot of other gear for all the other slots, imagine having a boost of 20-30 stat points, which equals to 20-30 combat rating points for all your gear slots before you hit 30. Then when you hit 30, you're going to put them all on and you get like 200 extra combat rating or 300 extra combat rating. So the gems obviously just transfer, but this is purely about stats. So each one of those stat points is one combat rating, and going from 68 to 92 is a nice jump for just one item. Now, of course, it is not as straightforward as that. While you can access Hell 2 way before Paragon level 30, you might find having a hard time killing everything there, because your combat rating is not meeting the combat rating of the monsters. So all the monsters in Hell 1 are combat rating 520. In Hell 2, however, all the monsters are at a combat rating of 1220. Now, being above or below that gives you either a buff or a debuff. What I mean by that is if you look at your combat rating of 1000, I have 1101, you can see it says my combat rating is above the combat rating of the monsters, which is 520, by 581. Now this gives me a buff, and all my damage is increased by 18%, and all the damage I receive is decreased by 15%. Now for PvP, there's always a flat 10% regardless, but that's separate. But in PvE, your survivability is now hugely increased in Hell 1 if you're above the recommended 520. Now we are not at 1220, which is the recommended combat rating of Hell 2, because that is what the monsters fight in, but we still can switch. But what happens now is instead of getting a buff, we are getting a debuff. It says that we are below the combat rating of the monsters by 119, and which is not a lot, but we still get a decrease in damage that we deal by 50%, and an increase in all damage we receive by 102%. So you want to make sure I started grinding every now and then, jumping into Hell 2 since 950, I would say, for trash. But anything that's blue, yellow, purple, or legendary enemies, stay away until you are comfortable with that strength level, or you get them by themselves and you can just avoid them a lot until you kill them, or best team up with a group of other people that you find and say, hey, I want to farm Hell 2, anybody up for it? Usually I find a group within about 10 minutes, and we either go into Hell 2 library or to the Damnation area and try to grind a couple of mobs there for some legendary drops. And just for giggles, just to show you how ridiculous it gets if you go higher, I can go to Hell 5, but Hell 5 has a combat rating of 5025 that all the monsters are at. So my debuff is insane. My debuff is, because I'm 3924 below, is my damage is decreased by 98%, and the damage I received is increased by 8,962%. So that's absolutely crazy. So obviously not worth it. But again, consider going into the next higher level. I would do the same again then when you hit Paragon 70, 75, or 65 even. If you have a combat rating close enough to 2000, you might already can swing it with a group of people to go into Hell 3 and start farming. Try to do that as soon as you can. It's a bit of a challenge, but as soon as you feel you're up for it, just start doing your dailies there, and you find that having the legendaries that drop there, a huge reward to look forward to as soon as you hit level 30. And just to show you now, this also applies to your set gear. In Hell 1, you only will get boots and belts for your set items, and in Hell 2, you can get your gloves as well as a jewelry item. So I already got my gloves. I was very lucky in the Mad King's Breach first run, it dropped, and I now have prepared for level 30 to already have the third item for my set. Now I will obviously pre-farm the next dungeon that drops my jewelry item, and once I have that, that means by the time I reach level 30, I not only have items that are better than the ones I have equipped, I also immediately unlock the next set bonus of my set items. Anyway, I hope some of that information was helpful to you. If it was, remember to kick that like button in the balls, and I hope I see you guys in the next video. And if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, hit that subscribe button, and I see you guys next time. Until then, as always, viel Spaß and happy gaming.